Welcome everyone to the next segment of UGC for B2B. I'm your host of today's segment, Logan King, Director of Enterprise Accounts. Today, I'm joined by esteemed colleague and guest, Katie Steinberg. You may recognize Katie. She is on our social channels. She is the host of the Game Changers podcast. Katie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Logan. I'm excited to be on UGC for B2B.
It's great to have you. The buzz from the Super Bowl is absolutely crazy this year. So the Chiefs were going for a three-peat, and to all the Chiefs fans out there, I'm sure that was not the result you were necessarily looking for. As a part-time Cowboys fan, I was just hoping for a competitive game. Now, it was really difficult to root for the Eagles, so I didn't necessarily know. I didn't have a dog in the fight, I guess, but I was rooting for a close game, and I didn't get that either. So
you did actually have a dog in the fight because the Chiefs were originally from Dallas. So most any of you from Dallas, you hopefully you're rooting for the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, I hear you. There is I guess a silver lining there somewhere. So Katie, you actually were at the Super Bowl this year. So why don't you fill us in a little bit about what your experience was like?
My goodness. So the Super Bowl was it was amazing. It not the overall outcome that I was hoping for. I really thought that the Chiefs were going to bring it home for the three-peat, and I was hoping they could make history. But at the end of the day, the Eagles played a better game, and it was well-deserved. So excited for them. And living in Texas, I was excited for the battle of the Texas-born quarterbacks as well. But overall, it was an incredible experience. As you were saying, the buzz of the fans was incredible. The fan experience was amazing. Even being able to do the Experience Center throughout the weekend as well. The Super Bowl is so much more than even just the game. It's the overall experience for the entire weekend. And you can just feel the energy in the entire city. So it was, although, again, not the outcome we were hoping for, it was still incredible, and they make it so fun throughout the entire game, both before and, honestly, even after.
I can imagine. New Orleans is probably a really fun place to have an event like the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I imagine the culture and the city made for an interesting vibe.
Absolutely.
So that's obviously pretty neat.
It was also the first Super Bowl, at least I've attended, with a U.S. president
there
as well. So that was the closest I've ever been to Donald Trump, where it said Caesar's Dome. They were right above the M and the E, and so I kept zooming in the whole time to try to get a photo or video of them. But both that and then with Kendrick Lamar winning so many Grammys recently,
sure,
the halftime show was amazing.
I'm definitely a Kendrick fan, so the Super Bowl halftime show was neat to see. Okay, so I don't want to tease too much for the audience here, but you mentioned fan engagement, fan experience. Why don't you fill us in a little bit about some of the things that you were noticing as it relates to the fan experience?
There, around the stadium, there was like almost little mini concerts all throughout, where some were for Chiefs, some were for Eagles. They have certain areas for just Eagles fans. They have certain areas for just Chiefs fans. Everyone's dancing. It's a party no matter where you go. They had actually drummers on stilts when you walked into the stadium. They have certain areas where you can throw the football and be able to do a touchdown. There's some where you can actually act like you're wearing the Chiefs jersey and then take a photo. A lot of it is centered around, though, I will say, photo ops, which is, again, as we're in line with more UGC, but everyone, no matter where you go, has their camera out because it's that Kodak moment. It's the moment you're looking for. You want to be able to show your kids you're coming from all areas of the country to be able to root on your team, or just to be able to go to the Super Bowl. And it's a memory for most people that they'll never forget. You're lucky to be able to go to one Super Bowl. So, I mean, it was incredible. They make it so worthwhile no matter what. Even if your team loses, you still have an incredible experience.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I totally hear that. I think a Super Bowl is definitely on my bucket list. I hope to be able to do that someday. And the drummers on stilts, that sounds like, I'm in like just a nervous wreck thinking about that. I am terrible. I'm terribly like not coordinated when it comes to anything with my feet. So like being on stilts and drumming, I just like can't even imagine.
They started going back and forth too. I got videos of it, but they started going back and forth, and I was like, are they gonna fall off? And then one was close to the ledge and it went back, but I think they were strapped in, hopefully. So we were good. But it was buzzing going in. And then what I thought was really cool was when you were actually in the stadium, they had multiple points where they had QR codes up. And it said scan so that you can, it was like scan to upload your videos or like selfie cam. And then you would be able to scan that and it was the selfie cam. So you could actually upload you and whoever you were with. So it's realized that there are thousands of fans amongst the stadium who want to be sharing those special moments, and a polished professional camera crew is not going to be able to capture them all. So instead it's bringing the power to the individual, where power to the user, where they can actually create the content, and when they want to share it, they can share it to the QR code. So you're able to really touch so many others and really highlight them, which only adds to the fan experience as a whole. I thought that was a really cool twist, which just shows, again, normally it's the actual game or stadium that's the one filming you, but I thought it was really interesting and timely and just shows where society's at as a whole, that now they have it where you're actually uploading yourself.
Yeah. I mean, talk about a memorable moment, right? Not just like even being at the Super Bowl.
Totally.
You're creating authentic content at the show. They've created a mechanism for people that are at these big events to create on-the-spot authentic content that everybody's going to see. And like, just imagine yourself, you record a video of you and your friends at the Super Bowl, and then all of a sudden it's on the Jumbotron. And
I mean, there were families where they're crying over the Eagles winning. You can tell they've spent a fortune on these tickets. There was especially a family of 6 in front of me, and they're all diehard Eagles fans. They were flapping the whole time, and they just kept filming themselves the whole time. And I'm sure they were uploading, but then there was one point where they actually did get on the big screen. So they were absolutely freaking out. And those are the moments where, I mean, there's no amount of money that that can ever really even pay for that. Like it's priceless moments. Those are the moments that matter, and that's why the Super Bowl it's a once in a lifetime experience. Yeah,
that's awesome. Now, one thing I just would love to share with our followers, I'm sure many of them don't know this detail about your personal connection to professional sports and the NFL specifically. And if we're going to dive into even more specifics, the Chiefs organization. So why don't you fill us in a little bit about that connection to the NFL?
Absolutely. Growing up, my dad is actually a sports agent. So he not only has always represented professional athletes, but then he, especially within the NFL, but then he also represents Patrick as well. So of course, ties to the Chiefs. Also just think they're an amazing organization. Again, I'm happy for the Eagles with their win. I was, of course, pulling for the Chiefs, so it was a little bit different, and I was really hoping they could make history. But it was, yes, there's, of course, that special tie there. And yes, my dad is a sports agent, so it's always had sports has always been more than just a game for me, and it's always had a very special tie and very near and dear to my heart and very personal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing. I think it's really interesting that you've had that kind of connection to sports and the family tie-in. So I just think it's really interesting. And I know that this isn't your first Super Bowl, but was there anything specifically interesting about this one that made it different than the last, other than the Chiefs were going for the three-peat?
Again, I think this definitely the first Super Bowl I've been to with a U.S. president. I thought that was incredible. I was lucky enough to sit within Andy Reid's family and friends, so that was very special as well. And just getting to hear stories about Andy throughout the day, or as everyone calls him, Coach. Also, I would truly say, just although I was not rooting for the Eagles, seeing that family and just the tears that are brought to their eyes even before the Eagles actually officially won, just with them knowing they were going to win, and you could just tell how much it meant to them, and the fact that they were able to bring their children to a Super Bowl. I mean, those are the memories that you want. And truly, every single person, no matter where you look, every single person was recording, whether it was video, whether it was just taking photos, but it's all power to the individual, and they want to make sure that they have that moment forever. It was an incredible game. I had never been inside the Caesars Stadium, so that was amazing. And it was also my first time in New Orleans. So all in all, do I wish this was the Super Bowl that brought us history and a three-peat? Absolutely. But Saquon Barkley and Jalen are amazing. And at the end of the day, the Chiefs are going to have more wins. So without question.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. I don't think this will be the Chiefs' last time at a crack at it.
No.
But that's neat. I mean, I think you hit on a really important point, is that the people that do get the privilege to go to the Super Bowl are witnessing history, and it really is a historic moment, and you're kind of witnessing the culmination of so much hard work that the athletes are putting into their craft and putting into the skill, and the coaches from, top to the bottom of these organizations. Like, you're witnessing the best of the best, and it is neat in that respect.
The Super Bowl is more than just a game for so many. It's more of like a monumental moment in their life, and it's such a highlight in their life that they're even able to go. So whether it's the team that you've been a fan of from the time you were in, first grade, and you remember your dad always talking about them, and you have all of these different moments, and then you're finally able to bring your children, or everyone has a story for why they're there. And I think that is what is so special about the Super Bowl, actually, that when it's not just a game, it's almost like a hallmark in your life that you're able to go. So everyone is so excited to be able to share what their either relation is to the team or why they're there, because everyone's almost in disbelief when you're there that we're all here for a reason. So how'd you get here?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Like, what's your story that you were able to come to something this special? And I think that's really amazing. Like, I've made friends in the past with those who have sat next to me at Super Bowls that I had not known prior, and you still keep in contact with them because it's such a special memory and moment, especially if your team wins. But even if not, you know that you're lucky to be able to be there.
Yeah. Well, and I think we're hitting on an important point that most Americans feel, is that it's far beyond just a game of football. The Super Bowl is ingrained in the culture of American sports.
Absolutely.
And for that reason, it's a great excuse to get with family and friends and indulge in neat, fun Super Bowl food, if that's what we're going to call it. But even if you're not a fan of the game, it's still a nice opportunity to be with loved ones and friends and family.
Of course.
And something that I personally find so interesting is it's, each year you see millions of people sharing authentic moments of predictions of who they think's going to win, videos and photos of Super Bowl parties that they're at, all the way to like the funny memes that you see on social media of stuff going on before the game or at the game. So tell me a little bit about why you think user-generated content is an authentic way for people to express themselves, and the Super Bowl is just a great example of that.
I think authentic is the best way to describe it, where it's you recording. You have the power. It's so much more personalized. It's what you want it to be, and it doesn't need to be polished and professional. It's real. It's real. It's you just being able to show a fun moment with your family, being able to casually whip the camera out. It's you being able to show that you're crying because you're so excited about the big win. It's you being able to zoom in and try to get Donald Trump or Taylor Swift at the game. It's what you want it to be. And it's so much more fun to be able to see user-generated content because it's so much more relatable, because you know that it's someone like you that's filming that, as opposed to when, again, it's polished and professional, and it's a professional camera crew, because that's so much more staged, where you want it to be from someone like you. You want it to be someone just whipping out their phone and being able to show them, again, crying over Jalen Hurts being able to throw the best touchdown in the game, or being, again, just the Eagles winning as a whole, or crying because the Chiefs are losing so terribly, because that was devastating. There was many people recording next to me where they're recording like how are we at the Super Bowl and we still haven't scored yet?
Sure.
Chiefs fans, but it captures the emotion that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. Because it's quick, it's easy, and it's again, it's authentic. It's user-generated content is something that you use to actually connect to others, as opposed to, again, something that's polished and professional. It's something where it's a lot more relatable. It's that connection, and it's those special moments that only you can capture.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I just would add on to that. In a day and age, especially in our environment in B2B, AI tools are great, and they help us to scale certain things, certain operational efforts that we have. It helps you with certain written communications. It helps achieve other things that that you're trying to scale. But I know confidently that people do pick up on some of the content that's out there today that's produced with AI tools. And I think that's just another reason why user-generated authentic content is so impactful, and it really is just the most authentic way that you can engage with people today. So I guess we'll end it there. But before we go, any good food? Did you have any beignets or etouffee while you were in New Orleans?
I had a beignet. I will say, so I guess I didn't know what to expect. For me, it was like a funnel cake. It was like mini funnel cakes. I still thought it was good, but mini funnel cakes. There was one thing that I thought was funny was at the stadium when you're going to get food. Normally it's your classic like hot dogs, hamburgers, which they still had, but then they would also have like crawfish macaroni or like shrimp po' boy. Like New Orleans definitely has its own flair when it comes to food.
Sure.
Which is another showcase of content. I cannot explain to you the amount of like foodstagrams that were probably getting photos and videos throughout the.
Sure, they were flooded with all the cool bites and stuff from the Super Bowl.
Yes.
All right. Well, Katie, I appreciate it.
Thank you. All in all, it was an amazing experience. I appreciate you having me on.
Thanks for making it happen and being on the show. To all of our followers out there, stay tuned and follow us on social.
All right, and thank you all for watching and listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of UGC for B2B.